The woman kindly went to deliver peanuts to her mother-in-law, but overheard a shocking conversation. Her mother-in-law and brother-in-law were planning to sell her daughter to a fool from the neighboring village as a wife. The buyer had already paid a deposit. Why were they so heartless? It turned out that the woman's husband had been a hero during a flood rescue 3 years ago. He sacrificed his life to save the entire village. Since then, the woman had been raising her daughter alone, struggling to get by. Fortunately, her daughter was outstanding. She was accepted into the best university in the country, but the family was too poor. Desperate, the woman went to ask her mother-in-law for help. After all, her mother-in-law was the child's biological grandmother, and when her husband had been honored as a martyr, he had been given a generous compensation, but her mother-in-law had kept all of it. Now, with her daughter unable to afford college, the grandmother had to help find a solution, but the grandmother was unmoved. The woman knelt, clinging to her mother-in-law's legs, begging for pity, saying they were a widow and orphan. But the cruel mother-in-law only said 2 words, "No money." The daughter, unaware of the situation, was still overjoyed about her acceptance, especially when her teacher told her she had been awarded a scholarship. She couldn't wait to share the news with her mother. When she reached the village entrance, she saw a crowd gathered. Pushing through the crowd, she found her mother sitting on the ground. That evening, back home, the daughter called her teacher to tell them she wouldn't be attending university. Wiping away her tears, she stood before her father's memorial tablet, telling him she was giving up on college. Then, she burned the acceptance letter. At that moment, the woman came out of the house and saw her daughter burning the letter. She immediately grabbed it from the flames and demanded to know why she was doing this. The sensible daughter explained that she wouldn't go to university. If she left, people would continue to bully her mother. The woman asked her daughter to kneel in front of her father's memorial tablet, but the daughter refused, saying her father had never protected her. The woman then said her husband had risked his life during the flood just for the reward money. When the daughter heard this, she immediately knelt before her father's tablet, asking for his forgiveness. The woman sat beside her daughter, telling her that she and her husband had worked hard all their lives, and all their hopes were on her. She had to go to university and leave the mountains behind. The woman silently vowed to send her daughter to school, so she began borrowing money from neighbors and relatives. No matter how harsh their words or how disgusted their looks, she didn't care. Her only goal was to raise enough money for her daughter's tuition, but there was still a long way to go. With no other options, the woman decided to sell her blood at the hospital. The doctor repeatedly warned her that it was dangerous, but she insisted, thinking of her daughter's tuition. The doctor, feeling pity, handed her the money. The daughter heard that her mother had gone to sell blood and rushed to the hospital to bring her home. She found her mother collapsed on the road.